Hey guys, today we are going to be making Bistec Mexicana, which is basically stewed beef with a tomato pepper sauce that you can eat with tortillas. And we're going to be making a version of elotes, street corn, but with zucchini. So first we're going to start off with our meat, which is 1 pound of sirloin steak. You just want to get some sort of meat that you can cut and cook in a short amount of time without it being too chewy. Sirloin is a really good option for something that's relatively inexpensive and easy to get. So mine happened to have a bone in, so I'm going to just take that out and set it to the side and save it for next time I make soup. There's also a little bit of fat I'm going to trim off. And there is a silver skin, which is a very tough, inedible strand on the meat. So I'm going to use the tip of my knife to get kind of underneath the silver skin. And then you can just pull it right off. It's actually the easiest way to remove silver skin, is to loosen one end and then just pull it right off the meat. So just go ahead and slice the meat into 1/4 inch, roughly, strips. Basically, we're looking for a stir-fry size sliced meat. And then this is going to be browned in a pan, and we're going to make a fresh tomato sauce. Everything for this dish will be basically done with one pan altogether. Super nice, super handy, easy cleanup. Once your meat is sliced, we're going to place it in a bowl and season it. The seasoning for this is really simple. It's just 2 teaspoons of garlic powder and probably about 1 teaspoon of salt, or 1 good pinch of salt. So just stir it in and we will make our quick tomato blended sauce. So this sauce can't really get any simpler. You just quarter 2 fresh tomatoes, throw them in a blender. And the sauce will be blended fresh, and it'll cook down with the meat and become a really nice, rich, dark tomato sauce. So throw your quartered tomatoes in the blender, throw in 2 garlic cloves. You don't even have to mince them, just smack them and peel them out of their husk. Throw them right in the blender. I'm going to use 1 onion, and all you have to do is cut it small enough that your blender will be able to blend it smoothly. So in my case, I'm just going to quickly quarter it, throw it right into the blender. Then I have a little bit of oregano, probably about a teaspoon of dried oregano, a pinch of salt, and then you're going to add just enough water to barely cover everything in the blender. And I'm also going to add 1/2 of a jalapeno because I want a little bit of spice. This you can adjust according to your preference. 1 whole jalapeno, or maybe even less if you don't want it spicy. And then just throw it in the blender and blend it on high until it's a smooth, watery consistency. It may look a little thin and a little weird, but once you cook it down in the meat, it'll look really nice. Set that to the side and we will start trimming our jalapenos. I'm going to add 1 jalapeno. I'm going to de-seed it so it's not super spicy, and thinly slice it. Next up, we are going to have more tomatoes added into this dish. I'm going to use 2 tomatoes, and I'm going to quarter them and then slice them into a small dice. These are all going to be basically being stir-fried in with the meat. They'll help give the dish some body and some texture. The tomatoes are all diced. Set them in a bowl with the peppers. Next up is onion, sliced thinly. This dish is really nice because you're using, very few ingredients, multiple ways to create something simple with a lot of flavor. Now, to get the beef actually cooking, get a pan pretty hot, about 2 tablespoons of oil. sear your meat. Let it sit and brown for about 2 minutes before moving it at all. Then keep stirring it up and letting it cook for about 5 minutes or so. And then when you're getting a little bit of brown, then you add in your cut up tomatoes, jalapenos, and onions. And we're going to let that sweat in the pan with the meat all together for about 2 minutes. We really want those flavors to meld together a little bit, and the sweating allows the onions to release some of their natural oils and for the tomatoes to wilt down and deepen in a flavor. So after that's cooked for a few minutes, we're going to dump in all of our blended fresh tomato sauce. And basically this is just going to slowly cook down for about 25 to 30 minutes. You'll know it's done when it starts getting really thick. As you can see here, this is about 20 minutes later. It's thickened to almost like a thick tomato pasta sauce, and that's when you know you're ready. So just plate it up, and I like to top it with some fresh cilantro. And that's it for your bistec, and you can serve it with tortillas and lime. And now I'll show you how to make the side dish that goes along with it. I'm also going to be showing you how to make elotes, which is traditionally Mexican street corn cooked and eaten with cochita cheese, mayonnaise, lime, and chili. I'm just going to be doing corn and zucchini, which I think just tastes really good, and it's a nice way to use up a lot of zucchini you might have during these summer months. So to take corn off the cob, you can stand it upright and use your knife and just slice next to the core, and the kernels will come off nice and clean. That's a good way to do it. That's probably the least messy way. Nice and simple. So cut your corn off the cob, put it in a bowl. These are patty pans squash, which is just a variety of summer squash. I know some of you have been asking questions on how to use it, but it can be treated just as any other zucchini. For this preparation, I'm going to slice it and then dice it into small little cubes. Should be a little bit bigger than corn kernels, so go through and slice all your patty pan squash. It'll probably end up being about 3-4 cups of squash, and then mince up 2 cloves of garlic and set that to the side. For the dressing, it's very simple. It's basically equal parts mayonnaise and Mexican cochita cheese, which is, if you can't find that, you can substitute with Parmesan, but this cheese is a little bit deeper in flavor. So add that in a bowl. I like to add fresh chopped scallions. Chives would also work. You can throw in cilantro if you'd like. I just like the kind of zip that fresh scallions give it. Add that to your bowl, probably about a cup of scallions, and then squeeze about half of a lime into this mixture. If you like it limier, feel free to do more. If you like it less limey, do less. It's really a personal preference kind of dish. So just simply stir that all together and set it to the side. I also like to add a good amount of chili powder into mine as well. Generally it's just put on top, but I like to stir mine into the mixture as well. So while that is sitting, we need to cook our corn and our zucchini for the dish. So I like to throw raw corn in a really hot oiled pan. It cooks really fast this way, and you get a little bit of a char, so it almost tastes like you grilled the corn and then cut it off. It's just kind of a little hack that's easy to do. Saute it for a few minutes and let it get some color, and then add your garlic, and I added a little bit more scallion as well because I had some left over. Toss it to combine, and this whole process should only take about 2 minutes, and the corn is ready to go. So set that to the side. This whole dish is best combined at about room temperature. If it's too hot, the mayonnaise and cheese sauce kind of gets a little bit loose and watery. We're going to treat the zucchini the same way as the corn. Throw it in a really hot pan with a little bit of oil and let it sit, get some color on it. give it a few tosses. It'll probably need to cook for about 5 minutes. Any longer and it starts to get mushy. So you want to take it out of the pan while it's just cooked and not getting too mushy, because as it sits and comes to room temperature, it will continue to cook. So when it's not too hot, we can combine our dish together. So just dump the zucchini in a bowl and your cooked corn mixture. And then I start with about half of the cheese and mayonnaise base. Once again, this is also a preference thing. I like mine with a little bit less dressing. So I only use about half. The rest will store really great in the refrigerator. And then I sprinkle the whole thing with chili powder and fresh cilantro. And it can be eaten cold, room temperature. It's great leftovers the next day. But it's just a really nice combination, these dishes together, the steak and the corn and the tortillas. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.